This week on The Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Here is them just talking about my dress, and they spoke about my husband. Last night, she said, I should Charles. They continue to talk about me. I just said,
Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to. We're going to be talking about the new episode of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 16, Episode 8. Let's get right into this. Okay, guys, so usually at the beginning of every episode, they usually say, previously on The Real Housewives of Atlanta, and they'll show a little recap of what happened last episode. I loved that in this episode, they did that, but instead of doing it the traditional way, Shamea sung the recap in a country song type of thing. I loved it. Shamea can sing. So the girls are waking up. It's day 2 of Porsha's birthday trip in Nashville. We see Britt FaceTiming her husband and filling him in on the drama, mainly Angela and how hard she had been advocating for Drew the night before to come on the trip. Britt already had been giving Angela the side eye, but now even more. Shamea also FaceTimes her husband. Her little girl was having some issues and she was at the hospital. It was very heartbreaking to see Shamea on the phone as she was seeing this, and the tears were just falling down her face. I'm sure that she hated the fact that she couldn't be there, and seeing your baby not be okay, I hate that she was going through that. Outside, Cynthia is checking up on Angela. Angela says that she doesn't regret anything. She's all about loyalty, and that's why she's advocating for Drew. Drew is on her way. Cynthia understands Porsha's side, though, because she definitely wouldn't like it if somebody was filming or meeting up or none of that with her baby daddy. So Drew arrives. Cynthia tells her that the group is going to divide today for a couple of activities. One group's going to go have a whiskey tasting and the other is going to go make some drinks. When Drew goes to say hi to Angela, Angela tells her where her room is at. Drew was not particularly thrilled about her room, not super happy about it. Angela then says, can you go talk to Porsha to take some of this heat off of me, because I went to war last night. The funny thing, though, is that Angela doesn't care. She actually doesn't give an F. She says that if she could do it all over again, she'd do it again. She'd still invite Drew. So everyone gets ready. They wear their little cowgirl outfits. Porsha still feels like Angela was gaslighting her last night, but Porsha's actually very cordial towards Drew. She greets her. She says hi. She even goes in for the hug. Good vibes. So they're on the Sprinter, and Shamea begins to cry. I assumed it was because of what had happened earlier, but it's because she used to be married to this guy who was very abusive, like physically would hit her, and she shared her story. And when she had shared her story, some lady was very mean to her about it. But that same lady now had just texted her apologizing for being mean to her about it. So that kind of made her emotional. Because back in the day, Kenya had a domestic violence awareness video on the show, and Shamea was on it, and so was Cynthia's mom, where they came forward to talk about their story. So they mentioned that briefly. Okay, so Porsha, Shamea, and Kelli go to a bar, and they had them taking shots. They got on top of the bar, and it was girls gone wild. I mean, they were sexually taking them shots, and no hands, just the mouth, making drinks. It was a lot. The others, Angela, Britt, and Cynthia, and Drew, go to whiskey tasting. And the whiskey tasting was a little bit more relaxed, more chill, more ambient. They were kind of just trying it. It was whiskey right out of the barrel. So, back to Porsha and them. Kelli was talking about Porsha's friends. She's asking about her Porsha's friends from the night before. Do they know Drew? Because they brought Drew up. Porsha's like, yeah, they know her. We're all cool, usually. So they were genuinely wondering where she was at. But again, Porsha's issue is with Angela. Porsha pretty much was and is still wondering, what gave Angela the audacity to invite someone to the trip. Shamea then says that the other day, this was back when they had the peace brunch, Angela told her that Kelli had been saying some shady things to Drew about her. Now, Angela didn't really care what Kelli was saying, but she did care about what Drew said. So Porsha now thinks that Angela was actually setting Drew up for everyone to have a negative vibe about her. First of all, I don't even get it. That doesn't make no sense, and I don't think so. So back with the other ladies, Angela tells Drew that last night she recognized that she didn't realize that Porsha would react to how she would react to her inviting Drew. Britt then says, I think one of the issues with you, Angela, is that you like to play the victim. Angela says, playing the victim how? Britt says, you think that you were catching all this heat, but you forget what you did. I also felt like I didn't get any support at that brunch that y'all had for me. I felt like y'all had no empathy for me, and it felt like y'all thought of the whole situation as of like y'all are even now. Angela says, to be honest, it just felt like when you walked into that brunch, your attitude felt like you were very entitled. Drew says, well, yeah, us showing up was being supportive. So Cynthia is the one that says, you guys, y'all do not get to tell this woman how to walk into a brunch when she went through what she had just gone through. So unless one of y'all have a picture of y'all with a D in y'all's mouth plastered on posters, y'all can't say how. Britt says, y'all were so worried about how I was coming in when I was in my house crying for 3 days because of these pictures being shown to people. I felt like my whole reputation, like everything was ruined. Angela and Drew say they were trying to just be supportive, and Angela did apologize for that. She admits that she was wrong for trying to be hurtful, trying to go tit for tat. I think they understood Britt more, so this kind of felt like a fresh start for them. Cynthia was enjoying that whiskey a lot, too, by the way. So that was it for the activities. They all then go back home. They have some time before dinner. We see Britt thank Cynthia for having her back earlier today. The ladies then begin to get ready for the dinner. And let me tell y'all something about Miss Cynthia Bailey. She will flirt, okay? She was flirting hard with some of those cowboy bartenders that they had. So the ladies were meeting at the living room and they were having a very fun time, laughing, joking, talking about their outfits and everything. Then all of a sudden Porsha comes down and all of the fun energy, she just sucked it out of the room. But that is because Porsha, before coming down, was so upset because she had now found out that Dennis and Drew had in fact been filming scenes after she had that conversation with him about not doing so. But anyway, they then go outside. They take a little dance, a little nice line dance. The best rhythm definitely goes to Shamea. Angela was a little too stiff. And Kelli dancing like she had 2 left feet. Everyone else was pretty good. So they sit down for dinner. And again, it's visibly clear that something is wrong with Porsha. So they ask, what is wrong? Kelli asks, but Porsha didn't really want to say anything. Kelli then asks, how was the whiskey tasting? And Britt says, it was good. We resolved a lot. You want to tell them, Angela? And Angela says, yeah, I learned that sometimes I can come across as a victim because honestly, I don't know how I come across as a victim, but I know that Britt and Porsha feel the same about me because Porsha called me a gaslighter last night. Why did you call me a gaslighter yesterday, Porsha? To which Porsha then says, I don't remember. Angela says, Porsha never said Drew wasn't invited. So she doesn't understand her being mad. Shamea says, well, yeah, but we had a group chat call, and Porsha said that everybody that was on the call was invited. Drew wasn't on the call, hence she wasn't invited. Angela does apologize for messing up, but Porsha's silent. It was like, look around, everybody on mute. Porsha was mute. Angela says, why am I the only one that has to take accountability, though? Why am I the only one that has to be accountable? Kelli then says to Angela, I don't think that's true. Angela turns to Kelli and says, but Kelli, you were the one of the first who asked Porsha the question about her stealing a man. And I think the world needs to hear the answer. Cynthia says, well, Porsha, do you want to answer Angela's question? Porsha says, I want Angela to kiss my ass. Angela says, the rest of the world can do that. Porsha says, you first. Angela says, that's how you feel? Porsha says, that's how I feel. Then here comes Drew. Well, let's address the elephant in the room. Porsha, are we good? Porsha says, yeah, we're straight. Drew says, I actually brought you a present, and I'm going to give it to you, and then I'm going to leave. Everyone's like, well, no, wait a minute. She didn't tell you to leave. Hold on. Drew's like, well, her answer was very nasty. So she gets up and leaves, and she says, well, I wasn't invited anyway. Porsha says, it's the dramatics for me. Like, I haven't made her feel unwelcomed at all. Then Drew is inside crying, saying she won't tolerate insults and attacks. But, like, who attacked you? Nobody attacked you, Drew, okay? Cynthia goes to check up on Porsha after dinner. Porsha tells her that she's going through a lot with this divorce, and feeling disappointed with people just feels like a pile on. Her energy really wasn't directed at anyone. And then Porsha starts to take her eyelashes off in front of everybody. But I will say, it was really nice seeing Cynthia be there for Porsha and making her feel better. Porsha says to her that Cynthia's energy makes her feel like she's at home. I really did love that moment because they're really like the only OGs right now. But the party then continued after that. The ladies all got on their bathing suits and they go to the pool. And it looked like the energies were all great again because Porsha was twerking so hard. She must have felt better. Everybody was out there except Angela, though. Obviously, Drew wasn't there either because she was leaving. But Angela was inside in her room, and that was all we saw. It is then the next morning, night 3. The pool looked like a mess. The girls turned the F up. So we then hear Angela talk about something that happened last night. So, like I said, she was in her room while everybody else was outside in the pool. She was on the phone with her husband. All of a sudden, she starts to hear her name and Charles's name from the window. She overheard Porsha very drunkenly, and again, she heard her name being mentioned. She heard Charles, and she claims that Porsha said, come to think of it, I should have effed Charles. So Angela's first instinct is to try and record this on her phone, but she was like, no, you know what? I'm going to go down there. So she went down there and she confronted them, but Porsha just walked away. So according to the other ladies, yes, they were talking about Angela, how she dresses. Shamea said that Charles likes to be with so many other women. He has a baby out of the wedlock. And Porsha did say Angela needs to stop before I screw her husband. Oof. So at this point, Angela got her bags and left. And you know what, though? I gotta say, I think she felt very disappointed. And here's the thing. Porsha's my girl. I've always loved Porsha, but it is coming across a little bit as a mean girl. Porsha, why are you out here talking about you're going to F somebody else's husband when you already know the narrative that people have about you and husbands, sweetie? Like, what is going on? Because, don't get me wrong, when it comes to Porsha and Drew's drama, I'm team Porsha 100%. Drew shouldn't be filming with no damn baby daddies, because how would she feel if a Brit decides to film with Ralph? I'm sure she would have a damn freaking problem. So on that regard, I'm with Porsha, and I don't think Porsha was being mean to Drew at all. Drew's prerogative was to get up. That's fine. You can leave. But when it comes to Angela, I do feel like they were being a little too mean and messy. And I mean, I just can't imagine you're in your room and you overhear a group of people just talking so much trash about you and your husband. That's really whack. So I feel for Angela. But you guys, please let me know what your thoughts were about this episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on these situations. What are you making of it? Again, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all next time. Y'all have a great one. Bye.